Hey everyone, welcome to class. This is Holly with Flow by Holly. Today we're going to be moving through a nice grounding flow, maybe on those days where you don't have too long to practice, but you just want to boost your energy and find a little bit of movement and a bit of repetition. So repetition is really good because we don't necessarily need to overthink everything, and we can just find some nice ritual through this repetition. So to begin the practice, we're going to come into a child's pose. So bringing the knees wide and then just dropping the chest down to the mat. Just always like to take this time, guys, to find your place on the mat and just bring your attention to the practice, to this present moment, and just letting the day melt away. Maybe you're in the middle of your day, you've just come out from the office, maybe you're ending the day, or maybe you're beginning the day. But wherever you are, just find yourself here, present on your mat, just not worrying about any of those other things that are to come or have been or that we're going. Just taking a few deep inhales through the nose and letting that go through the mouth. Just feel the body melt gently into the mat, maybe letting the forehead rest on the mat here. Just letting the hips drop back towards the heels. Just finding that nice, juicy, easeful stretch. From here, let's make our way into tabletop position. So wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are about hip width distance apart, and the pelvis is just slightly tucked. Okay, so we've got some nice activation already through the core. And then as we push away, we're going to exhale, finding that cat pose, really creating some distance between the shoulder blades. And then as we inhale, let's take the gaze slightly high. Oh, searching for a few cracks down the back of the body is always nice. And maybe take our gaze over the left shoulder and then over the right, coming back through center, again pushing the mat away, like we're really resisting the earth here. Push, 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 finding that compression through the midsection. And then let that go, exhale, arching through the back of the spine, bringing the shoulder blades together. Take a full inhale, and as we exhale, one last round here, finding that cat position. And just moving in your time, okay? So just using myself as a guide, but not necessarily a strict, way of doing things. So coming to tuck the toes, we're going to come straight away into a downward facing dog. So grounding the hands down into the mat, reaching the heels long. You're more than welcome to bend the knees here, okay? So having the knees bent and then having a straight spine is much better than trying to, keep those legs straight and then cranking through the back or finding a big arch. I want you to think about length from the crown of the head to the tail. And then pushing out of the arms. Okay, maybe taking some little foot pedals with the heels, one side and the other. Just using this moment in your first downward dog to set an intention for your practice. As I say, this is quite a nice repetitious flow, moving through sun salutations and just bringing a little bit of vitality back into your day and into your body. And ultimately just finding calm through repetition. Let's start to tippy toe the feet to the top of the mat. And then just grasping the elbows. Take a gentle rock side to side, let the head dangle, maybe rolling through the neck a little bit. Shaking no, nodding yes. And then from here we're going to start to slowly bring the body up, vertebrae by vertebrae, and then take a deep, lovely little shoulder roll, bringing those shoulders back and down. Feet are at hip width distance apart, standing here in our mountain pose, just noticing if the weight is evenly distributed through both feet. And if not, how can we bring a bit more stability, a bit more evenness? Chest is proud and high, the spine is nice and long. Maybe closing down through the eyes here as we just let ourselves sink in to flow. So opening the gaze as we inhale, reaching the arms high, Tadasana. Fingertips come together. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come to the knees just gently. And then as we exhale, hands come to the mat, stepping the left foot and then stepping the right foot back, high plank. For this first one, let's just drop the knees down, coming all the way down through Chaturanga to the mat and just taking a little baby cobra, just engaging through that posterior chain to begin. Inhale and exhale, tuck the toes, coming up on the knees or through a full plank into our upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And again, just tippy toe the feet in. It's like we're sucking the hips back up into the socket. Finding that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Again, inhale, halfway. Exhale, stepping the right foot back this time. And then the left. Coming through our Chaturanga. So, taking a little look, I'm going to bring my weight forward and over the wrists. And then just bringing the elbows nicely tucked into the center of the rib cage. Coming down about halfway. And then scooping up and over on to the tops of the foot. Exhale, push away, downward facing dog. This time, jump or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, sweep the arms high overhead. And then let it all go. Moving through your Chaturanga, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump, back of the mat. Landing in that high plank position. Core is engaged. Move through your Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Again, step or jump top of the mat. So 2 more rounds like this, guys. Moving at your own pace or in your own timings if you need. Otherwise, following through. Come to stand. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step or jump, back of the mat. Finding your flow. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Again, jumping through. It's like we're jumping through to the top, through the hands there. Halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms high. And then exhale, dive deep, planting the hands down to the mat halfway. Exhale, step or jump, Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Again, jumping through. Okay, so really feeling those movements. Halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. This time grasping the elbows. Taking that little rock side to side again. And just breathe here. Taking a little release through the wrists. So stepping the pads of the foot up to the crease of the wrists. And just pushing down here. Okay, so we use repetition to build ritual and consistency. So it's a balance in life, between mixing things up, but also having those stable, everyday, Monday things. We can't do something different every single day, okay? We need that routine. But how can we change, how can we add new things in to keep things interesting, refreshing, and motivating? Letting the hands go, finding that halfway position. Exhale, we fold. Rolling up all the way, Tadasana. Inhale. As we exhale, let that go. Hands come to the mat. Step the left foot back, followed by the right, high plank. Moving through your flow. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Center the left foot, sweep the right leg high to the sky, taking a three-legged dog. I like to just peel that hip flexor open for this first one. Find the strength and the stretch. Exhale, stepping forward, warrior one. So blade edge of the back foot grounds. Inhale, sweep the arms high. And exhale, drop the weight low. Full exhale, hands plant to the mat. Stepping that right foot back, high plank. From here, let's come straight up to a downward facing dog. Just a little taste. And then center the right foot, left leg goes high. Same thing, finding that deep hip yawn here. Three-legged dog. Placing the weight evenly through the front fingers of both hands. And then exhale, stepping forward, warrior one. Straight away, bringing those arms high to the sky. Gaze follows. And then just dropping everything a little bit lower here. Challenging yourself. And exhale, bring the hands down to frame the front foot, stepping to a plank, moving through a chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, step or jump top of the mat, and then finding a little chair pose. Chair pose, feet to hip width distance, a slight tuck of the pelvis here, and then can everyone drop a little bit lower. Well done. For a count of 3, 2, and 1. Drop into your forward fold. Let that go. Halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, roll through each vertebrae, finding the stretch as we move. Bringing the arms high. And then exhale, forward fold. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump, back of the mat, high plank position, moving through your flow. Well done, guys. Building a bit of heat, consistency, repetition. I love it. So right leg goes high, left leg centers. Inhale. Exhale, again, simple step through. Warrior one. Deep inhale. Exhale, bring the hands back down to frame the front foot. Stepping back, high plank, downward facing dog. Right leg centers this time, left leg goes high. Inhale. Exhale, stepping through, warrior one. Bringing the arms up. Whew, just breathe. Exhale, hands come to frame the front foot, stepping that to a high plank, moving through your flow. Upward facing, downward facing, step or jump top of the mat, back to that chair pose, Utkatasana. Feet can be hip width distance apart or together if you prefer. And squeezing those glutes. It's like a little baby back bend in this little posture. There's so many elements to it. Can we look down at the knees? Can we see the front big toes? Holding for 3, for 2, and 1. Let that go. Hands come to center. Finding that nice deep fold. This time, peace fingers go around the big toes. And then just let the elbows splay out. Let the head drop like a little dangling piece of fruit on a tree. And then maybe wobbling side to side. Loosening things up, take a shoulder roll, not taking it all too seriously. Then planting those hands, finding that halfway lift again. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms high overhead. And exhale, dive deep. This time we step or jump. Back of the mat, high plank. Coming through low plank. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Center the left foot. Inhale, right leg goes high, three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping through warrior one. Straight away we come up, high lunge, warrior one. And then exhale, let that go. Hands come to frame the front foot, high plank. Straight away, downward facing dog. Center the right foot this time, left leg goes high. And then exhale, stepping through warrior one. Sweeping the arms once again. One more breath here. And then hands come to frame the front foot, stepping back, high plank. And just moving through that flow. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Holding for 3 breaths in your down dog here. Just feeling the effects of your flow in your practice already. The movement, the getting lost in that repetition. Take a full inhale. And on the exhale, let's step or jump forward. Top of the mat. Again, chair pose. Can never get too many. Sitting low. And we're going to pulse for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Knees come wide, just a little transitionary pose. And then just bringing the feet nicely tucked in towards the glutes, rolling down as slowly as we can, all the way down onto the mat. Simples. From here, guys, just bringing those feet about hip width distance apart, raising the hips up, finding a little bridge counter pose, and then maybe a bind underneath you. And we're really pressing into the feet evenly again. So I want you to think about grounding. The pressure is evenly distributed. Okay, so not favoring one side. Engaging the glutes and then letting everything go. Just hug the knees into the chest. Taking a little rock side to side here. And then we're going to bring the right knee over the left, grasping for the outer edges of the foot. Gomukhasana, reclined. A nice little release through the outer sides of the hips. All those step throughs and the movements of the salutations can cause a bit of tightening here, so just letting that go. And then just dropping the knees down to the mat, simply swapping the knees over. Left leg comes on top of the right. And again, peeling the feet apart and just breathing, finding that grounding breath. And from here, bringing the arms wide, we're just going to drop the knees over to the right or the left. Just making sure we do both sides, guys. And then just noticing to yourself, in sort of flows like this where there is a lot of repetition, if you find something boring, questioning why. So how can we change something that we do daily? Maybe it's something really simple, like, you know, a night routine, coming to bring the knees over to the other side. Maybe it's putting our kids down, maybe it's doing their bath. How can we change this slightly so that we find a bit more joy and a bit of change and therefore a bit of excitement? So salutations I did used to find so boring and like, what's the point? Bring the knees in. And doing, you know, the same thing over and over until you realize that if you change the perception a little bit of stuff that you do over and over, you just notice that you get better at it. Okay, and practice does make perfect. Hugging the knees in, we're going to take happy baby. So bring the feet to the ceiling, grasping the outsides of the foot. and drawing the weight back down. So yeah, using repetition as a way of, perfecting something or getting better at something, but also challenging how you see this and how can you change it slightly to make it exciting. Okay, because we need that balance of change and of consistency. We can't change things every single day. That's just not possible. So it's finding enjoyment in those same mundane things. Bringing the legs to the ceiling now, we're going to come to grab the outsides of the hip and pushing up. Extending the feet high. And then just drawing the knees into the chest or the forehead before rolling our way back down the length of the mat. After that little TED talk, we can come into a little beautiful Shavasana to end the practice and to get back into our day. But for now, just staying here in the practice, leaving the day where it is, and using a bit of time for you to just be and breathe. Not needing to rush or figure anything out, just being here in stillness. Shavasana. Staying here as long as you have the time for today. Otherwise, rolling on over to the left. Take a deep inhale and a full exhale. And then just pushing yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Just want you to move the neck over towards the right. And then swivel it, little semicircle, the other way. 2 more like that. And then take a full inhale. Exhale, namaste. Thank you guys for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.